Why that is can be best understood if we compare an easy credit policy with what we might call a hard credit policy. An expansion of easy credit as compared to an expansion of hard credit. What I mean by hard credit is simply this. Hard credits are the result of savings. Savings means I abstain from buying up certain goods. I abstain from consuming certain goods. I don't buy Coke, I don't buy a beer, and hand over the money that I have saved to somebody who takes a credit. By doing this, I have basically given the investor the beer that I didn't drink, the Coke that I didn't drink, and gave him the beer and the Coke. We can call this also commodity credit. Now, even if I give him money, but the money is the result of genuine saving, I have given the person who receives the credit real goods that he can use for his investment, his investment projects. Now, if I have provided an investor with commodity credit, it is possible that now more investment projects can be performed, can be started, and can be completed than before. Look at superficially, it looks exactly like an easy credit policy. There are also more investment projects going on in both cases, but in one case, so to speak, the credit taker receives goods that I have not used. In the other case, he does not. The credit was created out of thin air without having saved anything. I still consume the beer and the Coca-Cola and do not give the beer and the Coca-Cola to the investor. I consume it just as I consumed it before, and the other one begins an investment project without being equipped with beers and Coca-Cola and bread and butter and so forth. Now, to make an additional investment successful, that is, to make it an investment that allows that the credit is paid back, that interest is paid back, that profit is made. At the end of the investment project, more goods must exist than existed at the beginning. Only then is it possible to pay interest and to make a profit on top. But more goods can only be produced, more goods in the future can only be produced if we have more production factors available. Because out of nothing, we cannot produce anything. Out of an unincreased number of production factors, it is impossible to create a larger number of future goods. Now, this is obviously trivial. Again, take a look at somebody an investor who is equipped with a commodity credit, a credit resulting from previous savings. He does have additional production factors. The saver gives him goods which the saver did not use himself. Take Robinson Crusoe and Friday, the most elementary example, and nonetheless that can nicely illustrate, so to speak, the difference between easy credit and genuine commodity credit. Let's say Robinson saves Robinson produces fish, and he saves some of the fish. He doesn't consume the fish. Now he extends a credit to Friday. The credit consists in fish. That is, Friday receives the fish that Robinson Crusoe did not eat. What does Friday now do with the credit? He uses the credit, the fish, in order to build a net. And with the help of the net, he is able to produce a larger quantity of fish in the future than was produced before. He is able to repay the credit to Robinson, the fish that he has received. He is able to pay Robinson an interest, that he gets an additional fish, so to speak. And Friday himself makes a profit on top. Both of them, Robinson and Friday, are richer at the end of this than they were before. Now, imagine, however, what Robinson does is he simply gives Friday a piece of paper that says fish. He has not saved fish. What will happen with Friday in this situation? Now you immediately realize if in this two-person model, Friday would not even accept this type of credit because he realizes how fishy the whole thing is. But what of course happens is Robinson giving this piece of paper that says fish, Friday begins to produce a net, but while he produces the net, he needs to eat. And there is no fish. So he will never be able to complete the project, come to the point where a larger amount of fish has been produced, and then repay credit plus interest and make a profit on top of it. But in a complex economy, you can see that you do not immediately notice that the pieces of paper that you get are pieces of paper that are not backed by any goods whatsoever. That is, there the illusion is possible, which would not be possible, obviously, in the Robinson Crusoe and Friday case, that people begin to work on the net, and then after a while they simply realize, hey, there are just not enough means around to allow me to complete the investment project, is to finish the net. Because there are no additional savings. The process was started with the illusion that this piece of paper was equivalent to some saved up fish, even though in reality the saved up fish simply did not exist. Okay. This simple example shows what goes on a large scale, so to speak, in an economy that is fed by fiduciary credit, by paper money credit without being backed by genuine savings. It is physically impossible that all investment projects that were begun can be successfully completed. A large number of these investment projects will have to fail due to a lack of savings that would allow people to complete all projects that they begin. Now let me say, conclusions this. So the Austrians did not only explain, or cannot only explain, how these illusions of wealth can arise, They have also explained why all of this had to happen if you have a central bank and if you have paper money produced by a monopolistic central bank. Why these are, so to speak, necessary consequences that follow from this type of institutional setup. And they have also explained why in the framework of the current monetary system, with a central bank, with paper money, the solution to all problems, to all crises that eventually must break out, is always to do the same thing again. That is, as soon as a crisis breaks out, within the given institutional framework, the same mistake will be made over and over again on a larger and larger scale. Every future crisis will be bigger than the crisis that we had before. So if you have a monopoly of printing up paper money, then people will use this monopoly, will use the power that goes with it. As I explained before, no society can ever be made richer by doing this. But it can enrich you, the central banker, and all of your friends. And as long as the whole scheme works out well, you are happy that it does. And if things go bad, if things go down the drain, then you can rescue yourself by bailing yourself out with newly printed money. You socialize the cost. You make other people pay for your mistake, and you privatize the gains. So the solution, or the way out of the current crisis is we engage in the same mistakes that caused the crisis in the first case on a larger scale in order to create in the future a still larger crisis where another boom will be fueled, a boom maybe not in just only asset prices, stock market prices, but a boom in particular in government bonds. And the next collapse, so to speak, might not be the collapse of banks, but it might be the collapse of states themselves. And this collapse then will be cured by hyperinflation as the only way that states have to get themselves out of this mess. Thank you very much.